Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this 20th December The Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the MCQ lessons. They are taken by Mahipal sir on premium platform. Very important course, and all the happenings around our country, they are extremely important for shaping your personality, your decision making, your character and your understanding level. That is the most important issue in the civil service examination. So you will be very much responsible a person after some years. So these are your formative years also, and this is not your preparation, this is actually a build up of your character, of your rational thinking, of your analytical abilities. So it's a everyday practice. Keep it continued, and do not think about the examination, think about that perfection that is needed to reach up to that responsible post and decide about the important things of this country. So keep that goal in mind and you will be energized always. Otherwise the thinking of examination will always give you some pressure. So do not think about the exam, think about the best preparation there to reach up to that post. Here 70% off is going on pen drive courses, and these two numbers are given there. You can call and regarding these courses, and regarding the paid videos you can get all the information, and affordable videos. Very important help is going on with these paid courses, and you can call on these two numbers. You can follow me on Instagram too, and the PDF you will get on Telegram channel, whose link is given on the Facebook group here. So some words that I found today, and the issue was first important issue: pact to open door for US defense firms. Yesterday we were talking about ISA, and today the information is that this ISA, Industrial Security Annex, is signed between India and US at the second 2+2 dialogue in Washington. You see, the Defense Minister of India, the External Affairs Minister of India. So two ministers from India, two ministers from America, 2+2 dialogue. Second dialogue it was there, and they signed ISA. It's opening the door for US defense companies to partner with the Indian private sector. Most importantly, the Indian private sector. You see, in the past we have not seen much engagement of the private sector in the defense manufacturing and in these strategic issues, but now the importance is growing, and for several multi-billion-dollar deals which are there in the pipeline, this issue is going to work for those projects. Like 114 fighter jets deal is hanging there, so they need to operationalize that also. Now some basic foundational agreements we have signed with America, like GSOMIA, after that LEMOA in 2016, after that COMCASA last year we signed that, and last one BECA is left. So BECA is under discussion, and they are negotiating its provisions there, but three are completed now, and COMCASA is also operationalized. COMCASA was necessary for the full scale utilization of the equipments there and the secure communication. Where in the marine area that is of very high importance. So COMCASA is also operationalized now. Okay, and it is going to provide communication compatibility and security issues there. So that's why it's COMCASA, communication compatibility and security agreement. Now the fourth one, BECA, is left. So in this strategic issues between India and America, where we are not yet the strategic partners, but these strategic issues are going on. So these four foundational agreements are important. So please explore all the details regarding these four, and certainly these can be asked. This ISA will enable smooth transfer of classified technology and information between private entities of US and India. You must be remembering the SP deal, strategic partnership deal, where the Dassault France and Anil Ambani's private company here, they both are going to develop the Rafale jet there. So that was the first one if you talk about the private sector's importance, and this is the second big issue here. Okay, ISA would facilitate collaboration between our defense industry by supporting the secure transfer of information and technology. So technology transfer is another big issue here. Okay, GSOMIA was the first agreement, and ISA is part of GSOMIA only. Okay, which India has signed with US long time back. That's important. And America is saying that it's a huge opportunity for India. It is once in the generation offer from America to India. We are giving you the F-18 Super Hornet and bespoke F-21 aircraft there. So that's huge for India, and they should seize this opportunity. So let's see what's happening here and what's going to happen in the future, and many more articles will come on this issue, because it's a superficial knowledge there, but what are the details there? Details are the real issue there, always, because devil is there in the details. So they will be scrutinized, they will be criticized, or they will be explained in the bigger articles there in the next week by many experts. So important for GS paper 2 and 3 both, this issue is. Okay, one more issue, IFC IOR. You see, Indian Fusion Center for Indian Ocean Region. We established this fusion center last year, and here we are inviting all important navies of this world. So we have given invitation to US also to nominate their liaison officer, and we have sent invitation to many countries for their officers to come on board on IFC, Indian Fusion Center, where the cooperation will rise. They will discuss their respective capabilities, technologies, and the security will improve for all. That's the issue. Next, Portugal sets up Gandhi Prize for the first time. Antonio Costa, he is the Prime Minister of Portugal, and on Thursday he announced that they will set up a Gandhi Citizenship Education Prize. He was attending an important meeting of National Committee for commemoration of Mahatma Gandhi's 150th birthday. He is the only foreign Prime Minister to be a part of the committee, and he announced that for Portugal, and he says that we are very much inspired by Gandhi's thoughts and quotes, and first edition of the prize would be dedicated to animal welfare there, and the greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated. So always Gandhi was very much concerned about the treatment of animals, treatment of weaker sections, elder people and the kids, and his all ideals were really inspiring. The whole world knows about that. Gandhi is surely the only icon, if you want to say that what India proposes always. So it is Gandhi, always. Gandhi actually has given identity to India in many nations, because many people are like that in this world who do not know much about India, but they know about Gandhi. Gandhi is that kind of icon. But in the same country of Gandhi, a lot of confusions, a lot of insults are there for Gandhi. Parliamentarians are there today who does not recognize Gandhi as a great person, and the killers of Gandhi, they are celebrated as nationalist people. So these are the regions that UPSC is going to focus more on these kind of details. That's why I am explaining you. So it is the Portugal country where they are going to launch the Gandhi Citizenship Education Prize. That's important. Next, the onions, a major political issue, and it's a very core issue for affecting every average person's life. The black marketing is going on. We all know about that. 32,000 tons of onions, they were rotting and they went wasted, and here in the market the price is reaching up to 200 rupees per kg. So it's a huge issue, and in this country the situation is different. The black marketing is going on. A lot of actions are taken by the government there, but the menace is unmanageable today, and we are bound to import onions from other countries. So from Turkey we have ordered a new deal there. MMTC, Metals and Minerals Trading Corporation. It's a very important PSU and the largest public sector trading body of India. We need to know about that. MMTC, one of the two highest earners of Forex for India. First is the petroleum refining companies, and second is this important PSU. So they both are the big earners for Forex for India, and it not only handles the export of primary products, coal, iron ore, manufactured agro and industrial products. It also imports important commodities such as ferrous, non-ferrous metals for industry and agricultural fertilizers and all. Now it is giving the contract to Turkey to send 12,500 tons of onion. So in total we have imported 42,500 tons of onion this year. So that's really huge. And MMTC is one of the mini Ratna companies, one of the 2 highest foreign exchange earners for India after petroleum refining companies, and it has got the status or the tag of 5-star export houses by the government of India, and it is the only PSU which has got this important status there. So they may ask you some details about that. And here the initial buyer of these onions will be NAFED, the Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, NAFED. Remember, TRIFED is for the tribal products, and NAFED is for the agricultural products for their cooperative marketing. So that's very, very important for GS paper 3, importantly. Now the issue of section 144, it is there in CRPC 1973 Criminal Procedure Code, and section 144, you must have heard about it a lot, almost on a daily basis in some area. 144 is imposed, the duration may be different, more the disturbed area, the longer the period is there. Now you see, in the democratic setups, governments, they have a lot of responsibilities, and the first responsibility is the security of the state. Most importantly, if the people, their lives are in some danger, in some kind of disturbed condition, in some kind of warlike situation, not warlike situation, but some disturbed situation, some riots if are possible, then the state is very much concerned about that, and 144 is the first option that the executive chooses to go with. Now here, as it says, it continues to reflect the colonial heritage. Why? Because the colonial British government, that was more there to suppress the movements. They were suppressing all the expressions, all the oppositions, all the important movements in the name of regulation there. They were saying that we are trying to save people from many threats there, many rioting there, many life-threatening situations there, but actually they were suppressing. So sometimes it looks like that the continuous use of it, that is used in a similar way as the colonial government was using it. Here you see, this is perhaps reflected best in the vibrant and unfettered invocation of section 144 in CRPC, which confers upon executive officers such as executive magistrate, SDM, the unimaginable powers for passing orders to tackle any urgent cases of nuisance or apprehended danger. Apprehended danger means there may not be any danger, but this is apprehended, and that may arise in their territorial jurisdiction. Means in their territorial jurisdictions they may pass any kind of order to save the dangerous situation there. So where such orders will prevent or are likely to prevent any adverse impact upon human life, health, safety, or prevent a disturbance of the public tranquility. So the public tranquility is a controversial issue. When it is there till regulation, then it is okay, but there is a very thin line between the regulation and the suppression of the expression. When you impose 144, then the peaceful assembly is not possible. People take permissions for the peaceful protests. That means they want to express some anger, and in the democracy this is the legitimate right. It's the constitutional right given to us. It's a fundamental right that we can protest about some things. This is our expression actually. So 144, to save any dangerous situation there, regulates the area, but at the same time the expression is also not possible, because the peaceful assembly is not possible during the 144 invocation. So here the problem is that when in the recent protests in Karnataka, in some other area, when they invoked 144, so the whole state in UP, in Karnataka, the whole state was under 144, and that was illegitimate according to the writer. He says that actually this is more explained in the article today, Protest and Order. He says that statewide clamping of prohibitory orders under section 144 of the CRPC in UP and Karnataka are stark examples of the misuse of regulatory powers to suppress the lawful exercise of constitutional rights. There are protests, there was protests, there has been many protests, and they were there before the independence gaining. Our whole independence struggle was based on the protests there. So it is our right, and we can never muzzle that. Now, where a very controversial issue, we had discussed a particular article yesterday which was proving how it is very problematic a decision to impose CAA and the gradual implementation of NRC, where we know so many concerns are there. The communal issue is certainly there, so the protests are very obvious. But when these are peaceful protests and they are happening after the permission, then many instances we have seen, and the media is a great culprit, where they are trying to give a different label to these protests, and with some confused way or in some manipulative way, they want to label this peaceful protest as a dangerous happenings. And because the people of this country, they will know things through the media only, and they are doing a different kind of service to the nation, where manipulated information is at its peak, and where the peaceful protests were going on. Some videos were also available where the forces, they did some excesses, and those were totally illegitimate. Now, these things are always controversial. You hardly can prove all the things in a appropriate way. Many biasness we have seen in the past, but you see here the clear example of a statewide clamping of prohibitory orders. How you will justify that? That's the issue. The invocation of section 44 in a whole state does not seem to be in conformity to the general rule that such a restriction on fundamental freedom should be reasonable, least invasive, and bona fide. How you can justify this act? The whole state was under restriction. In the Jammu Kashmir issue, we have been observing that the extension is given to the house arrest for all the political leaders there. They are not able to say anything on the camera, and they are not able to express anything. What's happening with them, what's not happening, who can say? It looks like they always want to convey a message that believe us, whatever we are doing, whatever we are deciding, just blindly believe that. This is not possible in the democracy. This never is possible, because the history is filled up with thousands of examples where many excesses have been done by the democratic governments. So it is not possible for the people to blindly believe all the things. You should not question all the things, but we can never blindly believe whatever the authorities will say. So that is why some things are extremely problematic for some months now. Now here in these protests, we have seen the public mood is very controversial. Means we saw the case of BHU, we saw the case of Jamia Millia, we saw the case of JNU there, and many legitimate issues were there. But the labeling was very controversial. You see, there is a common pattern these days. Some peaceful protest is going on, and some goons, they enter those crowds and they start doing some unsocial activities there. They start burning some buses and all, and these kind of things happen. And this way the whole movement is now very easily labeled as some anti-national movement, anti-national protest there. So that's the issue, that's the problem of the media also, because the media is the main culprit who gives this kind of label there, and they provoke the people, common people of this country, who are sitting in their homes, and they get this information through the media, and they provoke those people so that they will start calling them anti-national on the social media, and then in the popular media this issue comes, and the whole movement, the whole issue, the whole protest, the peaceful protest, that gets a label of anti-national. So this is the problem. And here what just happened, when you gave this order and you invoked the 144 in whole state, and alongside of it the communication lockdown is the bigger problem. Means if any excesses they are happening, if the forces they are doing something which is not justified or which is not legitimate, then how to talk about those issues, how to get the remedy there. This is right that in those sensitive times some people may take advantage and they can provoke some crowds there, but you see the forces are there on the roads and any huge mishappening is not possible. And in some emergency condition, if somebody needs some help and the messaging is needed, then the communication lockdown can be very, very dangerous. That can be fatal. So this combination of 144 and the communication lockdown is really, really problematic. And one thing that nobody talks about, during this time you are suppressing the expression also. Suppose if the inquiry happens and it is proved that the protest was very much legitimate, that was necessary, and there was no legal or constitutional problem with that, and you had invoked 144 at that time, that means who was at mistake? It is the state, it is the executory machinery that was at mistake, and you actually violated the fundamental right there to express. So the perception of threat to public peace and tranquility should be real and not imaginary or a mere like a possibility. It should not be like that. It should be totally realized, and many instances are available to learn from the situations there. The apex court has often said about an order that under 144 they have to be very, very careful, and they need to be very reasonable, and it should be very minimally used. And on the political side, the leadership, they need to respond to the widespread public fears, and the ideal thing which should happen, that if any peaceful protest is there, then on the administrative side the authorities should aim to facilitate the exercise of the expression there, expression of the people's right there, rather than suppress them. What happened in Bengaluru and Delhi, preventing protesters from gathering, and the denial of permission to hold any protest in several other places was excessive, and the communication lockdown was also there. So these things, they need a lot of justification, and there is a very thin line between the regulation and the suppression of the expression there. The second thing is very devastating in a democracy, and as they say, some things are legitimate, they should look legitimate also. Okay, and I always say, in all these happenings, the role of the media, that is needed to be scrutinized a lot, because in all these controversial instances, the media is certainly playing with this nation's existence, and if somebody is doing something anti-national, that is some channels of this country, the kind of harm they have done to this nation, nobody has done that. That's the issue. So this issue is very, very important for GS paper 1, GS paper 2 and GS paper 3 and GS paper 4 especially, because the case studies will always come of this kind, and where you will have to decide about some things. So these are classic examples of the GS4 case studies. Next, Kabir Srivastava talks about a very crucial issue, where I always say that when any irresponsible government will act, then what they will try to do, they will always put some smoke screens. As yesterday Geeta Gopinath, the chief economist in IMF, she says that these are some smoke screens, because economy cannot be hidden for a long period of time, so you need some scapegoats there, and you need some smoke screen there to hide some facts from the public there. So during elections or after elections, many agendas are different. During elections, some things are raised as the most important issues for the country, most important issues for the country's economy, country's existence, country's security, and later after elections, these all things, they are totally missing from the public sphere. Black money issue was something like that. Kabir Srivastava says India's fight against black money has returned a whimper. The government's intent cannot be faulted. We cannot say government is at fault. But since the problem itself was misdiagnosed, the ensuing legislative measures have been bereft of constitutional and economic common sense. Means whatever is going on, it does not look like that the common sense is followed there. Some things are really bizarre. Since 2011, the debate regarding the black money, this was really huge, and this changed the government of UPA, and NDA came into power talking about the same issue. Baba Ramdev, you must be remembering what not we saw at that time in the name of black money, the issue that was going on, and what not the politicians said at that time, that we will do this thing, we will do that thing, and within this time frame we will make it possible, and all people will get the money in their accounts and all, and these all gimmicks we saw. But what just happened here? It is 2019 and it was the time of 2011-12. What we saw, they relied too little on persuasion, and they relied far too much on browbeating. The rhetorics, the shouting, and the targeting, everything was there. But now, the substance is not visible, and the economic results are nothing to rave about. We are at the lowest level today in many years. The Black Money Act, which was brought up by India, the government there, that is a draconian law according to the writer. And it was bound to fail since starting, because the minimum tax rate of 60%, it gave marginal incentive for the hoarders to come clean. Means the issue was that whatever they have earned illegitimately and they have not paid tax to the government of India, and this country was at economic loss, so you get that back and you give a chance also to these people. But here the chances are gone, and the incentive is not visible there. Means the real intent will not be fulfilled here. You see, lawmakers overestimated the writ of international laws and made no economically persuasive case. It was more a fear creation, it was more a drum beating, it was more a confiscation measure, and the real persuasion of a goal that India should recover its losses, our economy should not get hurt, that goal is not achieved actually. Resultantly, as of May 19, the total untaxed foreign assets mined, shockingly, was only 12,500 crore rupees. If wholly recovered, you see, if wholly recovered, this would not even pay Prasar Bharati's bills for 4 years. Means 12,500 crore rupees is nothing. Here you compare the situation with Indonesia. With similar schemes, it recovered 25 lakh crore rupees, and what we are mining here, 12,500 crore rupees, just this much amount. So the government's initial obsession with browbeating had an ominous start, but instead of doing course correction, it passed an even more confiscatory law, the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. Means anyway the chances of improvement are not left, and things are more confused, things are more mismanaged. We talk about existing laws, then since 1989 the income tax has been there, and it provided for up to 3 times penalty on escaped tax. Similarly, if the willful attempts are there to evade taxes, then up to 7 years imprisonment is there. And the protocol for automatic information exchange, tax information exchange, where India is receiving data from Switzerland, that was signed in 2011. So these were the available provisions there. What changed after 2014? In 3 aspects things changed. First, the retrospective application of tax and penal laws that are so confiscatory and brazenly discriminatory that they walk all over a citizen's right to life, career in business, and own property. Means they are targeting more innocent people, and the real culprits are out of the net there. Next, shifting the burden of proof onto the citizen to establish that he is not an offender. The kind of thing we saw in NRC, where somebody put an allegation that this person is not legitimate, this person is a illegal immigrant, and this person is a foreigner, then that poor person will have the burden to prove that he is not a foreigner, he is an Indian. So similar things are visible here. Next, citizens can be subjected to criminal trial without the taxman first proving that there has been tax evasion. Means this thing is not fixed yet, that person is a real culprit, this person has evaded the tax, and you start the criminal trial there. These things are problematic. So the punishment is a must if the culprit is there, if the person has stashed black money there and the hoarding is visible and that's totally illegitimate, then the punishment is a must that should be given, because this is not something that the country is so happy, people are so happy and somebody hoarded some money and that does not affect much. It is not like that. This is a very sensitive issue and it's a very problematic situation of inequality in this country. People are dying and here some people are hoarding money, so the punishment is a must. But this is not the way, and this is not the way you are gonna catch the real culprits there, and more innocent people will be harassed and unbridled powers are given to the tax authorities there. So that's why in the name of persuasion things are not changed much, but more problematic things are visible. If you talk about these examples of ED and income tax department, you see their conviction rate. For ED it is 1%, just 1%. For the income tax department it is nearly 2%. What is the conviction rate in US or UK? It is 50% cases. That's the difference of sincerity and the real persuasion of the issues. Just 1%, 2% conviction rates means they have done nothing. The CAG report showed that in financial year 16-17, the same year when the demonetization was done, that was the iconic year where the black money issue was raised like anything. And what we said in the starting, that this demonetization is done just for the sake of black money issue. This is the holiest war against the black money, and we have taken the biggest step ever in this world against the black money, and we will do that. We will do what not we heard at that time. But what has happened after that? You see the statistics, you will be shocked to know the number of raids more than doubled in comparison to financial year 13-14, the last year of UPA 2. So the raids were doubled in the number in 16-17, the demonetization year. But what about the detections? The real detections in 16-17, the undisclosed income detected, that was just 1/4 in 16-17, in the iconic year of demonetization, when all these issues were going on and they said that we will do this, we will do that, and this is the holiest war against the black money. In that year they collected 1/4 the amount in comparison to the 13-14 year. That's the reality, and that's the revelation there. So that's why the writer says India's fiscal policy goes into the opposite direction with the opposite logic, that intrusion first and diagnosis later. That should be just opposite to it. No clear estimate of black money owned by Indians and stashed abroad is available. Actually, they do not have any clear data, but what not they said, that's the issue. In 2008 to 12, means in these 4 years, various reports quoted anywhere between 500 billion to 1.5 trillion dollars. So much amount. And they said that we are relying on the estimates of Swiss Bankers Association. But after the elections, James Nason told that there was no publication of that sort. And in March 19, National Institute of Financial Management, what it reported to Lok Sabha, you will be shocked to know, from these 1.5 trillion dollars, they said that it is about $216 billion to $490 billion. Just this amount. Means that time was 2012 and this is 2019. In 7 years they did nothing and they couldn't even get the right data there, and now they're saying just $216 billion are there. This is nothing. This is actually nothing, because we know what kind of unequal country India is, and what kind of conduct is there for the rich people in this country. But now it looks like they have managed everything in these years, and this is 1/7 the estimate quoted ahead of the 14 election. So in election, they projected a huge, humongous amount that was misdiagnosed, unverified, exaggerated numbers to manipulate people's mind there. So that's the issue. Now the cognizance, you see, for the judiciary, one question is there. If the conventional wisdom on black money was based on disinformation, should it take cognizance of it? If yes, how to deal with that? The right information is not available, and they should learn from some important cases like the Ram Jethmalani's case against black money, but they will never discuss this issue, and the media will never even touch these kind of topics because they just want to destroy this country by confusing people, by provoking people, and these kind of serious issues are not even touched. Nani Palkhiwala wrote in an article in 1993, and he said that fiscal system must have not just legality but also legitimacy. It is denuded of all legitimacy when there is a breach of faith on the part of the government in its dealing with the taxpayer there. As the new Black Money Act harasses more than it pursues, and the demonetization year and the particular exercise which was called a massive theft of people's property by international media, highly problematic the situation was, and till date there is no clear explanation of this exercise from the government side, and they celebrate that. And actually many economics experts say that whatever economic slowdown we are facing today, what kind of crisis is there in this country, that is all because of this foolish exercise. This is the statement by many of the economic experts there. And one side the government says that it was the best exercise, and it is after all those shifted goals. Once they said that it is for the black money, then they said that it is for the terror, stopping the terror financing there, then they said that it is for the promotion of digital economy there, cashless economy there, so what not we saw. But actually, for sure, demonetization affected this country's economy, and we are in a deep crisis today. But till date, what we are discussing, where our focus is going on the protest conditions, CAB, NRC, Mandir Masjid, what not we are observing here. We need to focus on the economy and what we are discussing there. So the issues like 15 lakh rupees will be deposited in each Indian account and all, and these political gimmicks, you see, no punitive recourse is there against political skullduggery. That's very, very unfortunate in this country. There is no punishment for that, for those kind of things. Government should give up the belief that being an intrusive, browbeating confiscator enriches Indians. Means the rhetorics and these dramas will never help the economy. This is economy. It runs on numbers. And the real approach, the professional approach, is only going to help there. And the approach which they have adopted is reminiscent of India's imperialistic past, where more browbeating was there, more rhetorics were there, and actually they impoverished the Indian people and they put them into economic depression, and they claimed something very, very different. So India's war on black money can only be won through democratic, persuasive and economic sound means. That's the real issue. So thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was amazing.